Okay, so I did a whole part two podcast, but I'm not very satisfied with it. So I'm trying to put it more into a concise bullet point sort of a thing. Okay, so let's see. What have we ended up? What are the tips based on my experiences with weddings? Number one, you do not have to go to the parlor every time there's a wedding and get dressed up, even if you're the immediate relative, and you do not have to buy a new uh, jewelry set. You do not have to buy new clothes or new shoes. Okay, I'm sorry, because I didn't. I did something a few years ago when I went with my mom um, for shopping for some clothes. And what I did is I bought at least 6 to 8 unstitched fabric with, three-piece with dupattas and all, everything complete. And I've kept them in my cupboard. And then a little by little, what I did is I brought out 2 to 3 of them, or maybe 4 of them. I got them embroidered. I got them, I did handwork done on them. I designed them and everything. And then I got them stitched. Okay. So I have clothes ready on the go. So even though everybody insisted that I make new clothes for this wedding, I absolutely refused to waste a single dime on the wedding, on clothes, basically. The only thing I was obliged to buy was a new pair of shoes because I needed those. That is it. That is the only thing that I bought, right? And that's it. I mean, I did not go to the parlor. I did not get my hair done or makeup done from anybody else. I did whatever was needed to be done on my own. Similarly, my mom did not go to the parlor. She did not get anything done on the day of the barat. Her sister did her makeup, and for the Valima, my sister bought her a new suit and insisted that she get it stitched and she wear it, and she did. And my sister bought her new shoes and makeup, new makeup and everything. But my mom did her makeup at home. I did my mother's facial, even though she did get her facial done twice or thrice from the parlor. But the thing is, she's not regular at it, despite the fact I insisted that before the wedding she should get regular so that her skin, because mature skin needs prepping. But she was a bit lazy on that end. She probably went twice throughout the whole time period. And then, just 2 days before the Valima, I did her facial. Okay. So unnecessary money that could have been wasted, gone. The only people who went to the parlor to get ready was obviously my sister, and she took the bride. The bride got ready in the parlor, uh, for the Valima. And even for the Barat, the bride obviously went and got married, went and did her makeup in the parlor and everything, right? Again, as I said, the you can do whatever you want to do, and you can get the best of it all without spending so much money, right? Especially if you know how to do it. And then another way that you can, stop yourself from wasting money is, as I said, nowadays girls have become more and more pragmatic, that they make good use of spending a reasonable amount of money on their wedding attire, and they do not spend so much money getting all their trousseau. Yeah, girls have stopped wasting money on their trousseaus. What they do is that they prefer to keep the money in their bank accounts and then buy accordingly as per their needs, which is actually so much more practical. Then another way that you can, have a good, successful, happy wedding is, I would always suggest, keep it intimate. The grander it is, to be honest, the more the problems, in other words, or the more the pain, the more the unnecessary headaches. And please, also, do not go for heavy decor, because that actually literally makes a huge marquee even look cramped. Much better to have a tasteful, sophisticated decor, unless, maybe you're up for something, I don't know, a theme. Also, I think relatives, immediate relatives in weddings concerned also do not need to always buy new clothes, as I said, or go to the parlors. If you have something that you can use it. I don't know why people have a problem with reusing. I have reused all, I mean, you've spent so much money designing a wedding attire, a wedding dress, to attend a wedding. Why would you keep it in the cupboard again? Why wouldn't you wear it again? I have worn every single one of my wedding clothes. I mean, clothes that I've made for, my cousin's weddings or my, um, I mean, yeah, my cousin's weddings mainly. All of those are in my cupboard, ready to use again. Well, why shouldn't I use them? I have used them over and over again in other weddings, in friends' weddings, in other cousins' weddings, and there's so many. Whenever a wedding comes in, I have dresses ready to use. I don't have to go running to the tailor and getting a new dress done. No, in fact, even now, I just found this amazing looking uh, fabric that is, that already has a lot of its embellishments done, the embroidery is done on it and everything. And I'm just going to keep it. And whenever, whenever the time, whenever it seems like a time for another wedding is coming, a month or two before that, I'll get it stitched and I'll keep it in the cupboard. So, yeah, that's what I do. I do not go for the 11th hour rush. Never have. Do not like it. Never will. Seriously, it's not my cup of tea. I like to be organized and I like to be well ahead of time, and I like to have everything in its place so that I don't have to scramble 11th minute at the 11th hour. And next tip, always please honor your guests. I know everybody's going to say we do honor our guests. We do, greet them and we make them sit down and we give, yeah, but no, especially if you have the honor to have the walima, In fact, even if you're the girl's family, it doesn't matter. A walima is the perfect time for you to once again, give time to all your guests, to meet all of them, to give them time, to thank them once again for being a part of it. Because believe me, the effort that it takes for people to come, especially if it's a short notice, even if it's not a short notice, you should thank people who can come or who do come. Next, do not waste money on renting a car and getting it decorated. If you can have your own car in the house, use that and decorate it. You will literally save tons of money, because I remember my uncle was actually insisting that we rent a car for the barat, and we're like, we've got a car, we've got a big car, it will do the job, we'll decorate it and it'll be done. And most of the people agreed with us too, but they're like, when you already have a car, why would you want to go and spend money just for show? Why do you want to show off anyway? I mean, seriously, we're not here to show off. We need a car so that we can accommodate the groom, the bride, and the immediate family. That's it. And we have one. So we took our own car. In fact, despite the fact that the groom was also thinking, oh, I'll rent it and all, we're like, just shut up and sit down. We've wasted a lot of money already on you. So yeah, just take this car, But actually, he was nice enough that he understood. He took the car and he did a pretty decent job at a very, very decent rate. It looked absolutely lovely. The car looked so lovely that everybody ended up taking pictures of the car. So that is how tastefully he got it done. And, again, in budget. So that was another unnecessary wastage of money, chucked out the window. And now, again, another tip. To avoid any kind of misunderstandings or fights or, sullen faces in the wedding amongst your relatives, please queue them up and get all their photography thingy done so that nobody can complain. That's the first thing that I did. And as I said, because my sister, the photographer and the cameraman, the duo that she had hired, they were so amazing, mashallah, that they knew their job so well. They were perfectly the kind of people that I would have hired, because these are the kind of photographers that I like, who are not in your face. In weddings, people tend to especially go really in your face, especially when you're close relatives of the bride and the groom, and that is very annoying. But they did not let anybody feel that they were capturing them on camera or they were capturing them on photos or anything. No, everybody was, in their own moment, and they were quietly capturing the whole moment. That is what I loved the most about them, because that is exactly the kind of photography that I myself do. I capture moments. The fact that they captured moments, literally, it was amazing. And the fact that you just had to gesture slightly or even go towards the stage, and they knew, and they would just be there quietly, and then they would take, and they wouldn't waste time. No, no, literally in minutes you're free to go. In fact, in seconds, to be honest, in seconds you're free to go. I made sure that the bride's cousins too, who had arrived earlier, I said, since you're here already, please go and take your photos taken on stage with the bride and the groom. Then I took some friends to the stage. I made sure that the family members went on stage and got their old photographies done, so that nobody should come complain that, oh, we were not on stage and we didn't get photographed and stuff. In fact, we got left out. Yeah, we get left out in other people's weddings too, because we're not into this thing. But imagine that in our own family wedding too, we did not go up to the stage. In fact, my aunt, my mom's sister-in-law, she's a wonderful lady, and she's actually very, very well versed in all the wedding etiquettes and rituals and this and that. And I think somehow she noticed that my mom didn't go on stage and my dad didn't go on stage. So she pulled my mom, grabbed her, took her to the stage, said, sit here. And then she's like, bring, my dad, so bring him as well. And but the photographer, I think it was too late. And I think the photographer had already gone out to capture the other things that he needed to capture. So my mom then she's like, oh, forget it, I'm not sitting any longer. And she she left the stage. But I mean, that's how it happened. I think the groom's brother and mother barely got a few photographs, taken on stage. But I mean, they were not the kind where the whole family would be on stage and get that whole, iconic family photograph. Yeah, we didn't get that done. No biggie. Who cares, right? Everybody else got theirs done, so nobody can complain. So when you can get good venue, a good photographer, and a pretty, with pretty amazing decor and everything, within budget, within range, if you get it done, carefully, if you know the right people who can help you get it done, as in who know what's what, and because normally what happens is when you are arranging a marriage at a short notice, then you do get these hiccups. For example, if you're out of source, you don't know which venues to check out, which not to check out. It's always helpful to have a friend who is really good at this stuff. And mashallah, my nephew's friends, childhood friends, they're best friends, they were so good at this job. It's literally because of them that we got this amazing venue at the right date and the right time, and everybody was amazed at the look, the venue, and at the food and everything. Everybody was so happy, and everybody was, you know, um, and yeah, seriously, everything was done to perfection, to be honest, mashallah. So again, this was all God himself at work. But at the same time, it just shows that if you have somebody on your side, if you have a good friend or somebody in the family who knows what's what, and they help you, then a lot of things can get sorted without wasting so much money. Apart from that, I would say another tip would be, put the money where it needs to be put. Put it towards their future, put it into their banks. I think I've said this a million times, but this is so important that I do not mind repeating it over and over again, because, as I said, this is not the time for brides to wear gold or to spend on their trousseau, because let's face it, nobody's wearing gold anymore. Even those who can afford it are not wearing it. In fact, especially those who can afford it are definitely not wearing it. Parents are giving gold to their daughters because they think, oh, it's a matter of pride, or it's a matter of tradition, or whatever. We have to show the world and all. You don't have to show the world jack shit. Okay, number one. Number two, that gold is ultimately going to go into the bank locker, and she's still going to end up wearing costume jewelry or imitation jewelry or artificial jewelry. The brides in India started wearing artificial jewelry decades ago, believe it or not, even in the 80s and the 90s, they had started removing gold from the mix, and they started with artificial jewelry. Only in Pakistan that until very recently we've still been wearing gold as brides. And I think I'm very happy to see that nowadays brides are not doing it anymore because, first of all, as we know, it's not safe. So life comes first, security comes first, because the amount of the inflation that we're at, the amount of gold has risen so high that people are literally scared to wear gold now. So you don't need to flaunt everything, is what I'm saying. And you can do whatever you want to do within budget, is also what I'm saying. You can get a lovely decoration done on a car that you own instead of going and renting another one. You can rent your bridal attire. You can use your mother's attire and alter it a bit. You can, instead of wasting money on your trousseau, you can only look for the essentials and then keep the rest of the money in your bank. And then, every time you find something that you need, you can add to it slowly as per your need. You know, you you can literally get away with even having a bridal shower and a mehndi and a mayo and do everything you want to, if you do it intimately within the family as it originally always was done. And that was the original purpose of these events anyway. If you go back to basics, you will enjoy more. Why was mehndi the most favorite event in every wedding? Tell me. I mean, Mehndi Mayo are essentially a Punjabi tradition of wedding. They're so popular that it's the whole of Pakistan, but essentially it's a Punjabi wedding thing. Now imagine, why was Mehndi the most popular event of the whole wedding? It's because it was within the family. And because it was within the family, people could just let everything loose. People would dance, people would even whether it's choreographed or not, it didn't matter. If they wanted to, they would, choreograph it. If they wanted, they wouldn't. People, mixed with each other because they were all family. People, were themselves. Because it was a small, intimate affair. Right? But then, because everybody enjoyed the mehndi so much, people started making them into grand mehendis. And now what's happened? It's fallen into the what the rest of the events are. It's become this really boring event that now people are like, where are we stuck? Why are we here? Literally. So yeah, I'd much rather have an intimate mehndi the way it is supposed to be, so that everybody can join themselves. And we did, as I said, despite the fact that my sister's wedding was also done at a very short notice. Yeah, guess what? Despite the fact that we weren't going to do any rites and rituals, because we literally had, again, just a week or two to prepare and everything. But again, our family members came, our friends came, and they still did, an intimate. We still had an intimate mehndi. We had an intimate mayo, or was it haldi? I don't know. So I mean, we still had those, and we had them at home. Heck, we had the whole wedding at home. So this is, how you can get whatever it is that you want without wasting so much money. And in fact, you end up having more fun. Because people are engaged, they are involved, and everybody feels that they're a part of something. Nobody's like sitting there looking at the stage and wondering who's who, and nobody knows each other. Yeah, no, that gets as boring as hell, and that's why I skip weddings. Also, here's another tip. I don't know if I've already said it, because this is the second time I'm making this part two. Do not, for crying out loud, please, do not marry for the sake of marriage, or do not marry to show people that you can get married, or that your children are okay, or whatever it is. Do not get married for any other reason than the actual reason of what marriage is supposed to be. And put your children's happiness and future first, because in your eagerness to get them married, or in their own eagerness to get married, you people seem to fail to see a lot of red flags that that actually pop up right at the beginning, before it all begins even. And one of the biggest red flags is somebody who hints at a dowry. If the boy or his family even hint at a dowry, get away as fast as you can. Because if they do not even have the capacity in them to take care of your daughter, that they expect her to bring stuff over to facilitate them, then they're not marriage material, okay? And they're not good people, because we are here as Muslims. We are here to please God. We're not here to please people. And we are here to follow God's rules, not people's rules. And if people think that their greed for dowry or their culture, in the name of culture, or Hindu culture or whatever it is that they're bringing in, if they think that that takes precedent over Islam, then you can very well see what the future for your daughter lies. Okay, so I would turn around and run fast. Okay, so please stop committing that mistake just in order to get your children married. Okay, get your priorities right. And those of you who want to get married, you also need to get your priorities right. Next tip, stop putting unnecessary burdens on each other. Do not put any unnecessary burden on the girl and her family, and do not put unnecessary burden on the boy and his family. Okay, do not have expectations that are unrealistic from each other. Okay, you're getting a wedding done, for crying out loud. You know, they have to live their lives together. If you haven't yet reached that point of understanding yet, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So, yeah, stop trying to make the other party spend more money. And while you're, that is something I've seen that people have been doing. It's either the girl's family that are always trying to, think that, oh, they're thinking, oh, the boys and the family, they are already doing so much, let them do some more. Or the boys' family are trying to throw a lot of burden on the girl, saying we're already doing this, so why shouldn't they also do more? Stop that. Yeah, because at the end of the day, the people who are getting married, yeah, they need to live together. You're not going to be living with them. Maybe you are, I don't know, and I don't care. But the point is, they're the ones who have to live together. So stop that. Oh, here's another thing that we did. Because again, this is the way we are. When you've born abroad and when you've lived abroad most of your lives, there are certain things that sort of become a part of your mindset, I guess. I don't know. But even though I'm sure that maybe people abroad have also stopped doing this, but we still follow that sort of an etiquette. Even after the wedding finished and everything was done, we made it a point to once again thank all our guests. We sent them messages, and we even, those who were near us in the neighborhood, we even went to their homes to once again thank them, for coming to the wedding and for being a part of it. So yeah, that's one thing. Always try to, these little things, they kind of go a long way. Yeah. So not only did we thank them during the wedding for being a part of it all, but then once everything was done and dusted, we once again sent them all, a round of message. Everyone, we texted all of them, and we once again thanked them for participating in the wedding and for being a part of it. Once again, I'll say, do not put money where it cannot even be noticed or seen. You're thinking that you're going to put a lot of money on the wedding and it should be for the world to see, and people will come and they will, believe me, nobody sees, nobody cares, nobody talks, except maybe those who are very, very close to you. And most of the time, even they wouldn't be able to see what it is that you want them to see, and they wouldn't even know, and they wouldn't notice. So that's not money well spent. That is money wasted. Okay? So, as I said, keep things to a minimal, but keep them tasteful when it comes to decor or when it comes to food. Also, yeah, because there was a time when people lavishly spent on food too, and it went way beyond lakhs just for food alone. Why? When the government has told you that you should have a one dish, and if the venues are doing a one dish, it's a relief for everybody, to be honest. I don't even see why you want to waste so much food, because as you know, the amount of food that is wasted in Pakistani weddings can feed a whole country. You call yourselves Muslims and you are wasting food like that, and you think that your ego will get deflated if you have to follow the rules of a one dish. Like, seriously, what's wrong with you? Nobody cares that you can afford multiple dishes on your daughter's wedding or your son's wedding. Seriously, nobody cares. And those who care are not even worth inviting. That's another tip. I know that I'm missing a point. In fact, the reason I picked up this podcast was that particular point. And once again, you know, why am I not surprised that the ultimate core point is what I'm missing? I've said so much and I still feel like I'm missing a most important point. But anyway, I think I've covered most of the other important points anyway. So this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.